أصحاب المعالي، أصحاب السعادة، السيدات والسادة الحضور ومتابعينا من خلف الشاشات. Your Excellencies, dear distinguished guests. نرحب بكم مرة أخرى في الجلسة الأولى. نرحب بكم مرة أخرى في جلسات المؤتمر الدولي لتقويم التعليم والتدريب، تجويد نواتج التعليم ودعم النمو الاقتصادي، الذي تنظمه هيئة تقويم التعليم والتدريب بالشراكة مع الأمانة السعودية لمجموعة العشرين. It's our pleasure to welcome you again to our thematic sessions of the International Conference on Education and Training Evaluation, Improving Learning Outcomes and Supporting Economic Growth, organized by the Education and Training Evaluation Commission in partnership with the G20 Saudi Secretariat. ندعوكم الآن لمتابعة الجلسة الثانية لهذا اليوم بعنوان الإفادة من بيانات التقويم من خلال البحوث والتقارير. يدير الجلسة الدكتور سطام السبيعي، مشرف عام برنامج استشراف مركز المعلومات الوطني. We invite you to the second thematic session of the day entitled Assessment Data for Research and Reporting, moderated by Dr. Sattam السبيعي, the Supervisor General of Estishraf Program. فليتفضل دكتور سطام السبيعي مشكورا.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a nice transition from the previous session. Our colleagues just talked about the importance of data in evaluating the education output. So it is my pleasure to welcome you to this discussion that will be themed around the assessment of data for research and reporting. Education, to many, is a lifelong target where the aim is to continuously develop into a better individual. One definition of education is to achieve full development and realization of individual human beings. Unfortunately, many children and adults find it extremely difficult to enjoy this basic right. According to a UNESCO report, the basic foundation of the education of human beings lays principally on being able to understand, read, write, and calculate. These essential life skills translate into the broader term of literacy. To achieve this noble, seemingly easy target is no picnic. A great number of challenges arise along the way. These challenges come in the form of gauging existing policies and creating new ones. This problem morphs into a more complex version once you incorporate tertiary skills, higher education, and indirect impacts of these outcomes. The significance of education systems stems from the fact that education forms a foundation for every other domain. Having that foundation in an improper state would greatly hinder the growth of developing countries and will eclipse the great progress that developed countries made over the decades. This is where data comes in. In modern times, data has been an integral ingredient of development in all fields. It drives economic growth, social development, and ensures security and safety of communities around the world. Education system does not fall short of that list, and for previously mentioned reasons, it must take precedence. With all of its complexity, diversity, and depth, data plays a critical role in understanding and improving it in a proper fashion. Data, regardless of domain, comes with a lot of great challenges, but it brings even greater opportunities once it's sufficiently collected and utilized. To truly unleash the power of data, humanity must pragmatically put in place a regulatory framework that ensures privacy, protection, proper collection, and ethical use. Saudi Arabia, driven by its ambitious 2030 vision, is aiming to reach excellence through a multitude of programs improving education, both directly and indirectly. Saudis are eager to extend this ambition and help our regional and global friends and partners around the world through our responsibility as a G20 member and a host of its current summit. During this session, we'll spend a bit over 2 hours engaged in a series of valuable presentations and Q&A sessions to discuss the vast improvement opportunities to global and local education systems that is achievable through data-based practices. Our esteemed panelists are renowned professionals in their respective fields. We have with us today His Excellency Dr. Tareq Alshedi, the President of National Data Management Office in Saudi Arabia, Dr. Sylvia Muntaya, Director of the UNESCO Institute of Statistics, Dr. Paulo Santiago, Head of the Policy Advice and Implementation Division at the OECD, Dr. Shivetlana Sbraul, a Senior Economist at the World Bank Group, Dr. Nayaf Al-Jabri, the Director General for Research and Innovation at the Education and Training Evaluation Commission in Saudi Arabia. Before we start, I would like to remind the viewers that they can send their questions through the chat function, and we will try to cover as much as we can from these questions at the end of the session. In our first session, it is my pleasure to introduce His Excellency Dr. Tareq Alshedi, the President of National Data Management Office at the Saudi Data and AI Authority. Dr. Tareq held a number of leadership positions during his career, most notably served as the Deputy for Planning and Development at the Presidency of State Security, served as General Supervisor for the Management of the National Information Center as Director General of the Center, and was the Director of Naif Academy for National Security and advisor to the Director General of Mabahith. He was also the Director of the Technical Development Project in Security Affairs at the Ministry of Interior, Head of the Systems Development Department at King Fahd Security College, advisor to the National Guard Hospital, King Abdulaziz City. Alshedi has got a PhD in computing and bioinformatics from George Mason University in the US, a higher diploma in social network analysis from the same university, a master's degree in management from King Saud University, a bachelor's degree in computer science from the same institution, and a bachelor's degree in security sciences from King Fahd Security College. Your Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you, Sattam. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashraf al-anbiya wal-mursaleen.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise due to Allah, peace and blessings be upon the Prophet Muhammad's family and companions.
And I'm thankful for Dr. Hussam and the team of ETEC to invite me to shed some lights on the role of National Data Management Office in maximizing the benefits of the data. And before I start my presentation, let me give some history of e-data or electronic data in Saudi Arabia. Our visionary leaders realized the importance of the data long time ago. So they established the National Information Center as a repository for store, process, and share the information of the citizens, expats, visitors, and pilgrims. I think the age of NIC is much more than the age of most of the people here in the conference. So after that, we were doing very well until the explosion of the information age. Then the agencies in Saudi Arabia, different agencies, start to or enforced to have their own data centers there is a lot of demand. I don't want to say that NIC cannot respond to their demand, but there is a lot of demand, so that we need to do it ourselves. So then we create a lot of silos of our island of information. And these islands actually caused a lot of problem related to personal data protection, and some problems related to data management and governance. So after that, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman came up with the Vision 2030. And we start to do the workshop or discussion, and we discovered that we have a lot of problems. If we want to get to the target of the Vision 2030, we have to solve these problems. So as a lead of the board, he decided to establish the National Data Management Office. And from there, we start our journey. So to start our journey, we decide to follow principles. So the eight national data principles that we came up, first one is data as a national assets. The problem of the data ownership, we have to stop it, and we start instead of that, the data stewardship. So no ownership, no more ownership. This is not my data is not there anymore. Then the second principle is about data privacy by design. Privacy by design means that you have to take the privacy in mind during the life cycle of the development of any application. The third principle, open by default. So open data is the default unless classified otherwise. Also, we have to use the data ethically. The design should be very purposeful, data-driven outcomes. We have to create awareness and learning culture in personal data protection and in data management. Trusted data. Trusted here means that it's trusted by the government agencies to use the data, that the quality is high, and also the individuals trusted us that we are using their data in the right way. So our mission is to managing and enriching data as a national asset while protecting the personal and sensitive data. How can we do that? Is by developing the strategy, standard, policy, and also we have to building the capacity and maintain the compliance of these regulations. So the strategic themes for our strategy: empower data-driven government decision-making, enabling data-driven innovation, enhancing citizen outcome or user experience, protect personal data, foster public trust in how their data is being used. So we came up with the 6 strategic objectives. If you look at it, it's like a journey, starting by developing the strategy for the data management and personal data protection. Then for this strategy, we need policy, standard, and regulation and laws to achieve that strategies. Okay, we have the strategy, we have the standard and laws and regulation. We need to support the government agencies actually to understand these regulations, to apply it the right way. Also, we need to establish a compliance indicators to make sure that they are follow the right the strategies and the standards in the right direction. Also, we need to monitor this compliance against regulation and policies. And at the end, we have to build the national capability or national capacity. As you know, we have a very, we have lack of expertise in, especially in data, in personal data protection. So we need to build that capacity. So The plan here, actually, what we did in the sixth one, we have a project now. It will be signed soon to train 1,000 trainee in 3 programs. The first one is to train the IT guys on the laws. So the IT will understand the privacy laws, so it will be privacy by design in their mind. The second one is to train the law people with the IT. So now we have this law and regulation, and we need them to understand the IT behind that. And the third one, and this is the longest program, it's data science, which will cover the KSA, what do we call it? The KSA National Data Management Protection Framework. The third will cover the and data usage. That's why it will be a long program for the students. And then we came with this KSA National Data Management and Protection Framework, which consists of 21 domains. And this is tailored to Saudi Arabia. And it's actually, we used many different best practices to come up with this governance model. So now we have the data management part, we finished with that. Then we developed actually many policies, some of them in the kitchen now, in the pipeline, some of them under development, and some of them now in the public opinion, and some of them now approved by the board, and now in the implementation phase in the agencies. So we have personal data protection policy, freedom of information policy, data classification policy, data sharing policy, revenue model policy, open data policy, all of them approved by the board, except the revenue model is still in the public opinion phase. Great. Now we have this policy for our standards, and we have this standard for the data management. Actually, we developed a standard book for data management consisting of 191 specifications. It's like a checklist. If you follow it, you will be able to understand exactly where are you in the area of data management. And this is used by the head of the departments to understand where are they in this area. So we're done with that. We're done with the data management, and we're done with the individual or the personal data protection. So how we apply it? We are very limited in the data management office and on individuals, and the employee. So what should we do? So also we go back again to the board, and we suggest that we have to have data offices in all government agencies, and it's actually approved by the board. And we got a royal decree to establish a data office in each government entity. So our organization here for that one, actually, we divide it into different domains, like health sector domain, telecoms domain, and financial domain or sector. And why we did that? Because each sector has its own regulation and personal data protection practice based on the nature of the sector. If we go to health sector, if you look at the United States, you will find they have this HIPAA regulation just for the personal data information in healthcare. They have different exchange IT specialized for the health care systems. So my recommendation or our recommendation that in the office is for your conference is to establish a data office or data governance in each agency, private sector or government sector. This will help the enrichment of the data and maximize the benefit of the data. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. That was very informative. We all know that NOMO was established last year.
Yeah, this is something we will celebrate our first anniversary actually in 9 days from now. So thank you.
So now, enabling data-driven innovation and economic development is a key strategy theme. In your opinion, as the head of the highest regulatory entity for data in the kingdom, how can we balance between the data governance and preserving privacy and the innovation by using data? What's the balance strike between those two?
Okay, thank you. In fact, as I said, we have the balance here is the data management and the data privacy and the data protection. So if we go back again to the practice of data management, and if we train our people on the right direction in the data management, and we train them very well on personal data protection, I'm sure that we will reach the innovation without, I mean, we will balance between the personal data protection and the innovation. So I think our policy that we have issued, taking in consideration that we will not disrupt the economic growth by issuing a very strict and harsh regulation.
Great. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.